What's up, guys? Andre here, joined by Derek and John to discuss our impressions of the Smash Bros. Ultimate 3.0 update. So that includes Joker, his stage, the new stage builder, as well as the new video editor, if you guys had a chance to try that out yet. So I thought we'd discuss it all now that we've had several days to play with all this content to some degree, given how busy we've been. So let's start off with our general impressions so far. I guess let's start with Joker. So are you feeling him? Is he your new main, or did he not quite live up to the hype for you?
He might not be my main, but I think he will go into my rotation, because I spent a little time playing with him, went through his classic mode, tried a few spirit board battles, and then went online for the first time in forever just to try him out. And I actually held my own pretty well. Like, not great, but I actually did win one match, got second a few others, and once I got the sort of pacing of him, I did like how he felt. He's very fast, which is immediately a plus in my book. And like I said, I don't think main, but definitely within my top 5.
I've been playing as Joker a lot, and I'm a little mixed on him. The first thing that kind of puts me off him is someone pointed out that a lot of his moves are actually pulled from other characters. So his down A, his slide, that's basically Mega Man's. His up air is basically Samus's. And there's a bunch of other moves which just sort of originate from other characters, which does feel a bit strange once you realise that. But on the other hand, all of his specials are really cool. And actually, I had quite a scary moment at one point. I was fighting against the DDD, and I just took his stock. He came back down with 0%, and I countered him, and I KO'd him at 0%, which I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, that was wild.
I did like 75 damage to him too, and he just went flying off, which it kind of makes me a bit worried about Joker's balance.
I think you repelled his spiny thing back at him, right? So I think that was a very specific circumstance in that case. But maybe he just is the DDD killer, so...
maybe that's the counter.
So John, I think I actually agree with you overall, but maybe for a slightly different reason. So I saw the same tweet you mentioned that referenced how it seemed Joker had pulled some of his basic moves from other characters. And I feel like that's something you can do for pretty much any character. Like, a lot of the standard attacks all feel pretty similar in many ways between different characters. So that's not the part that bothers me. The part that bothers me a little bit more, and I say bother loosely, I think Joker is actually a pretty fine, pretty okay character overall. His specials to me actually felt similar to other characters we've seen. His standard special reminds me of Bayonetta's. His side special reminds me of the most recent Prawn Plant a little bit with a smoke cloud, or poison cloud.
Oh, that reminds me more of Robin and his arc fire.
Yeah, good point. There's that too. His recovery does remind me a little bit of Isabelle's fishing rod, even though it does behave quite a bit differently. And his down special is effectively a counter, but it doesn't have the unique property as well of being able to absorb attacks. So that actually is pretty unique, and I will give Joker full credit for that one. So yeah, Joker's weird. But I think taken all together, he is unique, especially once you get Arson out there to power up your attacks. But when I'm just playing with him in standard form, he's not as distinctive as I thought he might be based on the reveal trailer. So with that said, I like using him, I've enjoyed my time with him, and I've done okay with him. He just doesn't stand out quite as much as I thought he might based on the trailer, but again, I still enjoy using him.
I do kind of feel like him being less powerful without Arsene is kind of intentional. Because once his persona comes out, all of a sudden he's this giant risk, and you kind of feel like your opponent get a bit more defensive once Arsene comes out, because all of a sudden all of your moves have doubled. So I think that kind of works in its favour. Though, speaking of him being overpowered a bit as well, do you guys feel like the Rebellion gauge time is a bit too much? Because you can hold that down for a while, and it can be kind of hard to judge exactly how long he can hold it for.
I've been bad about using it, so I can't say for sure, because Arsene feels like Arsene builds up pretty quickly, especially if you're taking a lot of damage, which is possible. So I've always been bad about using that, still getting the feel for it. But yeah, I mean, it always seems to last as long as I need it to, and I still haven't held it down long enough for it to not work anymore. So yeah,
right.
Yeah, I think you hit on something there, John. I do like that balance though, that push and pull a little bit, where you do tend to notice a behavior change in your opponent. You're like, oh, I'm gonna back away from this guy now while his persona's out, and let him just do his thing. So I do like that. That does make Joker unique. It's more that that's not. He's not out that often, typically, at least the way I play. It's more when I'm using Joker in his base form. It's not like that exciting for me, just because the novelty isn't there so much.
Sure. And even though I do feel like he may be a bit off balance in some areas, Sakurai's put so much love into putting Joker into this game. A lot of his animations feel straight out of Persona 5. Like, I love his sprinting animation. Just feels like the same one that's in all the palaces in Persona 5. And even the victories. Like, there's one where Morgana sort of slams his head against the camera, and that is straight out of Persona 5. It's just, they really captured his likeness here.
Oh, every single one of those victories are straight out of Persona 5. It's it's both variations of Morgana victory pose, and then, of course, the cat bus. It's great.
So, as someone who hasn't played Persona much, Andre, how do you feel he differs himself from Cloud? Because I guess the two of them have a rather similar gimmick, where Cloud has the limit gauge, and then Joker has his rebellion gauge.
It is kind of funny how over the last two Smash Brothers games, they've really been leaning into this whole meter thing, haven't they? I'm not the biggest Cloud user, so from what I remember, they don't feel too similar to me, but I don't use Cloud much, so I really couldn't say.
Yeah, I don't think it's very similar to Cloud. Like, Cloud can charge his limit breaks up and do one attack, but I find myself not really bothering with that too much. It just happens. I do have more of a conscious effort to try to get Arsene out as much as possible, because you are that much more powerful at that point. So, again, it's similar, but definitely not the same. And I think that there's enough of a difference between Joker and Cloud in that regard.
Yeah, because instead of getting a single move, powering up your entire moveset is, I think, entirely unique, right, to the cast.
Right.
So that is pretty cool. I actually do quite like that. And that definitely does make Joker unique. So I appreciate that element.
I was pretty surprised to see that they only used Arsene as a Persona, though, because he's kind of the weakest. He's the one you start with in Persona 5.
Well, that's how you balance it then. You put the weakest Persona in there. So.
There you go. So. Yeah, there's a lot more deadly ones and interesting ones that they could use that would be something else, that's for sure. But, I mean, it makes sense to have Arsene in there. He has a cool design. It works out, and I think it makes sense. And as you mentioned before, John, just the animations and care put into Joker. Some of his like flips and stuff are pulled directly from the opening cutscene where he's escaping from the casino. It is really cool to see them go that deep dive and put those type of moves into Joker's set.
Absolutely. And I guess if they did have more Personas in there, it'd be kind of hard to differentiate which one's which. Because Arsene, even when he comes out, he's not too distinguishable. He's still just this sort of see-through figure. And it's not quite like Pokemon where you change your entire character. So I think they went the right route with just having Arsene out.
Quick question. I love how he powers up his entire moveset, as we just established. However, I found that Joker's recovery already is like pretty darn good, and I barely notice the difference when I have Arsene out, or Arsene, however you say it. Just because, I mean, it doesn't make much difference in my ability to recover, typically. Because I've been turned away from the ledge, like, underneath it, substantially, like, pretty far away, probably meters away, and his grappling hook will still latch on, so...
Yeah, it's
I was
insane.
shocked at that.
Yeah.
Because I had a few matches online where I got way low, and I was like, well, I gotta try and see if it reaches, and it did. And like, how the heck did I get back?
Yeah, you don't have to try, he just does it.
Yeah, his recovery is absolutely insane. I guess Arsene gives him a bit more flexibility, because
That's
there's
true.
no need to have like a ledge nearby. With Arsene, you can just recover from anywhere.
That's a good point, yeah.
Yeah, even with the grapple hook, though, you still have so much range with your recovery. It's probably one of the best, like the highest recoveries in the game.
Probably, yeah. At least especially for a non-flying type maneuver. So,
Right.
Yeah, and again, just another note of him pulling from other people's movesets. With Arsene, it really does feel like Pit's recovery. It just, you have invincibility this time.
True. It's also kind of strange with Joker. Now Xander, who is the voice, he's the announcer in Smash. He now voices the announcer, Master Hand, Crazy Hand, and Joker. So you can go into classic mode and hear the same voice actor say like 4 different lines as 4 different characters.
It's pretty great. So what do you guys think of Mementos, the new stage?
Oh, it's way more exciting than I thought it would be, because we had data mines and Mementos a while back, and it's kind of the most boring place in Persona 5. So I didn't really know how they could do it justice, but they did. They did it great justice. And I also love all the Persona variants. There's Persona 3, Persona 4, and Persona 5. And as a big fan of Persona 4, it's great to see representation of that game, because they even change the theme a little bit, because there's a little platform that comes down. And when it's Persona 4, you see a little TV display on there. Whereas with Persona 5, I think you just see like the Phantom Thieves logo or something. So it gives a little flavour of each game. And obviously different soundtracks have to be playing to counter this as well, so it really does make it feel like more than just a Persona 5 representation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as one who's not familiar, again, with Persona at all, for the most part, beyond like the 10 minutes I watched my roommate play it, I think I like the stage. I said before, it reminds me of Battlefield in a kind of superficial terms, like with it having a pretty standard layout, but it's missing a platform. It does have the dropping elevation or the staircase there, and I actually like that. It actually does make it feel quite a bit different. And then you add on the wild visuals from the Persona games, and then also the random barriers that pop up on the side. It actually feels pretty distinct. So I think I actually am, I might even be more of a fan of the stage I am of the character itself.
This is the best we could have hoped for, I think, out of Mementos. Like you, it was just, you hear that and you're like, oh boy, I maybe they'll do something good because, Mementos is the most boring place, it has the most boring music, it just really didn't capture that imagination like the rest of the game did. And to see Sakurai take that and make it actually interesting, actually fun, utilizing the trains running underneath and the warping bits and just seeing that in the background was really cool to see. And as you said, John, having Persona 3 and 4 representation in there was completely unexpected. Just seeing how much further they went than you'd expect was a real treat.
Mm-hmm. It's also really dynamic too. Like, you can launch a character all the way off the stage, and all of a sudden it will just sort of morph, and a little barrier will come in and kind of save them, which you can get really lucky with that if that happens to you. And it just feels like a really organic stage. And we had lots of thoughts about what kind of stage would have for Persona 5, whether it would just be the streets of Tokyo, or whether it would be one of the game's palaces. And while I think a palace would have been a bit more distinguished, it still manages to have its own unique feel to it, which is far more than I could have ever hoped for, because Mementos is the most generic thing in Persona. So yeah, it's a great stage all in all.
Well, the cool thing about the 3.0 update, John, is that you can build your own palace if you want to, thanks to the addition of Stage Builder, which my thoughts are a bit complicated on. On the one hand, I am blown away by what people are creating with it. We've seen some amazing artistic recreations or renditions of stages or even title screens from video games. They don't all play great, but a lot of them look super cool. On the other hand, the stage builder just doesn't work for me. I'm not artistic in terms of drawing. I don't like the interface. I don't like the icons. I find it too limiting, again, especially for someone who isn't great at drawing. And yes, while I appreciate and love what people are doing with it, it just doesn't do anything for me, and that bums me out because I love creating things. It's just that I can't here.
Thank God there's ways to download these.
Oh, absolutely. The tools themselves aren't exactly intuitive. You can draw, and that's about it. Like, there isn't much more you can do other than spin things around. And just based off that, I'd say the editor isn't great. But people are making some absolutely insane stuff with these limitations.
They absolutely are.
Even if I don't particularly like the editor, it's still commendable that people are making such great stuff.
Yeah, I mean, they are really working within the limits and the limitations of it and the tools that provided to them to do some incredible things. We've seen, like, you posted a stage today, John, that is basically a recreation of Pong. Not even a recreation, it's a working recreation. You can play Pong in Smash Brothers. We've seen full title screens recreated in this game. The Sonic one that I posted a video on is amazing. We've seen a remarkably playable version of a Bomb Battlefield that looks great at the same time and is also fun to play on. We're seeing some great stuff. It's just the tool set is not up my alley, which is so disappointing to me, because that's the thing I love most about stage creators. Like, I like being creative, I like making things, and while I enjoy the other people's creations, I really enjoy making my own as well. And that's something that I find lacking here, just because it's a tool set that doesn't quite work for me, which is a person who has almost no artistic skills, which you need to in order to draw, because as you mentioned, it's a primary input method. And also, I hate how you have to draw with a touchscreen, and you can barely see what you're doing because your finger is covering what you're drawing.
Right.
And they do have a shape tool, but there's two major problems with it. One, you can only create circles and squares, which is, there's so much more they could provide. Like, I hope an update adds more options, like create triangles or different shapes. And then beyond that, it automatically fills in the terrain, and there's no way to undo that. So you can't make like a ring, for instance. It has to be a filled-in circle, and again, the entire thing just frustrates me as a creator.
What we really need is a copy and paste feature. Because, as you said, the only thing you can do is sort of draw your own platform. So if you want two that are the exact same size, you have to be really accurate with how you're doing it. Because there's no way to just put a specific size down. You have to draw it each and every time, which can be tricky. And we tried visiting some N64 remakes of stages, and they were great. But then you dive a bit further in and find like melee stages. A lot of the ones that aren't in the game are traveling stages, and they're just kind of impossible to recreate in the stage builder. Just because of the limitations that are there. You can't really make stages that are that tall, and they definitely can't scroll. Yeah. So it's just kind of a limitation to what you can and can't do.
Yeah, we don't have that Mario Maker 2 scrolling option, unfortunately, here. And you kind of remind me of something else that really annoys me. Like, that annoyed me from the outset. And that's the fact that the moment you create your stage, you have to already know what size you want and what background to have in it. You cannot change those. You can't change those after you start creating your stage. And that frustrates me so much. I love playing around with those options. Like, in Mario Maker, I would change the background and the game style constantly to find the best fit for the stage I created. You can't do that here. You have to figure it out first and then work within whatever you set. And that is just so frustrating to me.
Yeah. With all that said, though, this is still hands down the best stage builder they've had in Smash.
Man, I go back and forth on that. Okay. So in terms of the corrections we're seeing, absolutely, no question there. In terms of usability, I preferred using brawls. This is better than Wii U's, no questions there. But I preferred brawls, but I could make stages there. I enjoyed making stages there. Granted, they weren't amazing stages, but I liked working within the parameters there, with it being like a grid-based interface. You didn't need art skills. It gave you a few different tools to work with. I forget exactly what they had. They had spikes at least. There are no spikes here. Where are my spikes at? So yeah, I don't think it's a categorical improvement. I do think we're seeing categorically better stages, but in terms of using it in the user interface, I don't think it's superior to brawls.
Yeah, interesting. I think the big thing here, though, is you can actually share your stages.
That's a big thing.
Yeah.
So I think that what I'm saying really is I didn't play that many Brawl stages that blew me away, and I've played a lot of Ultimate stages that have. And that's probably just because I'm playing some talented users, some stages that talented users have made. Whereas in Brawl, you're just kind of stuck with what you can make.
Right.
So I guess that's the big thing.
I guarantee that's not exciting.
Right.
I will say, some of my best memories actually are from when we would play Brawl at IGN. And because I was doing the guide for it, like I made a couple of like really, really terrible stages. And whenever we would play like in the break room, we would forget to turn them off from the randomizer, so it would just pop up randomly this completely god-awful stage that wasn't even ironically good, and people would just lose it over how terrible over being subjected to this really terrible match. It was just really funny.
Yeah, you can actually have some fun matches on a lot of these stages. They're really well crafted, have some unique gimmicks. I like the fact that you can move things. That helps a lot, and really gives them makes them a lot more dynamic than you normally would.
Yeah, and great point. I mean, to commend them, I loved the moving options here. The fact that you can move platforms, have them spin in place, or you can put a switch on them even, and that causes them to move. Like, that is all cool stuff.
And they can also be more than just stages as well. Like, Ultimate, as it is pretty much just a fighting game. There's no home run contest, there's no break the targets, all you can really do is fight. And a lot of people have taken it upon themselves to make more options in Smash. Like, just yesterday, we showcased a Joker video, where someone's made this platforming obstacle course. And it really just gives more objectives to Smash than just the core fighting. And of course, there's that Pong level as well. So, like, while the core objective is still basically just fight, you can make something a bit more within Stage Builder.
You actually just reminded me of a feature I wish they had, is I wish you were able to spawn specific items in the stage. That way you could create, like, more dangerous areas that reward you for venturing over there, for instance. So yeah, I wish that were an option. Like, for instance, in that Joker stage, what if there had been, like, a star at the end? Assuming it were an actual stage you could, really play on. And when they eventually put break the targets into this game, I do hope that they let you mix and match with Stage Builder and make your own break the target stages. Because that seems easy enough. Like, it's just the same tool set, but with some targets. That's the only way we get break the targets, my friend. Make your own.
Yeah. I will be curious to see what else they add to this game in the future. Like, break the targets and home run contest is almost a guarantee, but what new things?
Wait, hold on. You guys are both saying breaking the targets are the thing. Do we actually think that's the case?
Well, yeah.
You have 4 more updates. What else are they going to add in these things?
Do they need to add break the targets, though?
They don't need to. But it's been basically in every single Smash game. It'd be odd to not have
barely in Wii U, though. That was barely break the targets.
True. But I guess if they let you do it in Stage Builder, then you can just have infinite break the targets. I don't know.
If we get the Angry Birds version of break the targets back, that I'm not counting that as break the targets.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
Surprise, new and improved version of Smash Tour.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk 4.0. Presumably that's what the next update will be, or the next major update, rather, with whatever the next character is. Maybe. Actually, I don't know, because that's only presumably a few months away. They have to cram 4 more characters in before February of next year, barring any delays. But what do you guys think we might get from 4.0, and do you think it'll be attached to the next character?
Well, I think, in terms of modes, I'm pretty sure Home Run Contest was data mined alongside Stage Builder. So, it's pretty much no question that Home Run Contest is on the way. But in terms of what we get for 4.0, what I want is for them to not really advertise the character much beforehand. I mean, I don't even want to know who it is until, like, the week before it comes out, or even the day.
Oh, man.
Because I think it's great to just have a character just drop. It's like going back to the Melee days where you just discover a character that you had no idea was in the game. I think that's thrilling. I'd love them to just shadow drop more characters without much of a build-up.
So you're expecting Tails now, huh?
Gosh, yeah. Get Tails finally in the game. Yeah. No, what I want as characters, I want L Block, I want Leon, and I want Master Chief.
L Block.
I'm cool with. L Block.
Nice. Well, I posted an image of what I want for the entire roster, being all Star Wars FX characters.
Oh God! I'm honestly be happy with anybody, because there's infinite potential. Like with what they could do with these characters, Sakurai has proven that, and I seriously can't wait to see what they bring out next. I do not think we're going to get a shadow drop, though, John. I feel like they're going to want to advertise this this whole DLC pack as much as possible, so they'll probably want to build up that hype.
Mm-hmm. I guess it's a big deal to market a character, right? Yeah. But at the same time, E3 is a month away. Well, I guess 2 months away-ish. Month and a half. So that's like the biggest advertisement you can have. I think it wouldn't be crazy to just drop a character at E3. It'd be crazy for us, because we're covering E3. But for them, I wouldn't put it past them.
I wouldn't either. Or at least if not dropped, it will be announced at E3, I think, and come out probably shortly thereafter. But it's possible at this point. Like I said, they have quite a few characters to cram into a relatively small time frame. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But beyond that, beyond Home Run Contest and possibly Break the Targets, is there anything else you guys would want to see in 4.0?
Board the platforms.
Yes, just bring back all the classic modes.
I was actually thinking, like, we've talked about this before, but of course, a better version of Smash Run.
That would be amazing. Yes, that is something I actually legitimately want, because Smash Run was an awesome idea, not incredibly well executed, but there was a massive potential there that they could really deliver on. I think with a full online mode with everyone in the same world.
And they've shown they've expanded upon the online by having able to download stages, able to upload them, videos as well. Like, there's all that whole sharing feature, so they're not afraid to, touch the online, and hopefully that'll be a part of it. Also, online tournaments. I'd really like online tournaments to return.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would love for them to just... Battle Arenas are fine, but I'd love them to have, private friend lobbies, where you can just be the one hosting and be the one playing all the time. Because as it is, I did a Smash stream a couple of weeks ago, and I couldn't play the entire time because it was just a rotation. So I could play every 2 matches or so, which is just kind of crazy when you're streaming. You want to be the one playing all the time just so you can play with everyone. But it's just kind of an awkward setup as it is. So I'd like a few more online options as well. Yeah,
and you can't spectate mid-match. You have to be there at the start. If you miss that window, you're kind of out of luck. Yeah, I think they could. I love the idea of the battle lobbies or whatever they're called. But I think they could be expanded greatly. You give us a few rings to play with. So not everyone has to be in the same match or be ready for it. But if you're waiting, why not be able to engage with like a sparring match with someone else, you know?
Just like ARMS. ARMS does just that.
My God, exactly. Just like ARMS.
There you go. Yeah, that'd be way better because the one time I did that, John, I just had to ask people, was like, please get out so I can get back in, so I can have everybody in there and give people a chance to fight with me and all that. So, yeah, it requires a lot more wrangling than you really should have to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
I still want my proper tag team mode. I think that'd be so fun if you can have a team of 2 characters you can swap in and out, you know, at will, with them retaining their own damage percents. I think that could be a really cool idea, but I don't think it'll happen. I'm just hoping.
It'd be great.
Yeah.
But I think you're onto something with Smash Run, though. We're lacking any kind of adventure mode in this. Like, World of Light was kind of that, but it was still just core fighting. There's nothing really to break that up. So, yeah, some kind of mode where it's just not fighting over and over. And even if they do bring back Smash Run, there's a lot more you can do with it. Because, as I think a big common complaint with Smash Run was you never really knew what you were doing at the end. Like, you were just sort of saving up all of your stats for this one big fight. But that fight could be anything. So there's definitely room to improve with just the Smash Run formula. One final thing I'd like to see in 4.0 is some more costumes. We're getting lots of Mii costumes, and they're okay. I'm not really going to buy them, though, because I don't really play as Mii fighters. But I'd love for them to do some more character costumes. Like, with Pikachu, for instance.
Or like alt skins.
Yeah, old skins, yeah. Like give Detective Pikachu a hat. Give Pikachu a hat just so he looks like Detective Pikachu, or something like that. There's a lot you can do there, I think. And they could even get more characters in there. Like, for instance, Olimar and what's his name? Alf, yeah. For instance, Olimar and Alf are the same character. I think you could do that with other characters too. Just sort of represent more characters while still playing with the same movesets. So yeah, there's a lot of room there, I think, to play around with, and I think that'd be more interesting than Mii fighters.
Yeah, I agree. I would be much more likely to get those type of costumes than Mii fighter costumes, because I just don't use the Miis.
I'm actually surprised Nintendo hasn't monetized that. Not that I want them to. I'm actually shocked they haven't, because they will make bank on that.
Right? There's a lot you can do too. Like, you can make Ryu, like evil Ryu, make Ken Violent Ken,
right?
Make Sonic Shadow. There's tons you can do without diving into Echo Fighters.
How cool would it be if they added like different versions of the same character? Even like, what if you could play as retro Fox McCloud from like Smash 64, right?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, give every original Smash character a 64-bit skin. That'd be so cool.
And there is some precedent for that on the Switch, at least in Mario Odyssey, how they had the whole like retro Mario costume, right?
Yeah. So, oh man, and they could do like 64-bit amiibo as well.
Give Toon Link his train outfit and stuff like that. There's like
that's already in the game. That's in the game.
That's true. It's there. Yeah, you're right. It is there. So wouldn't be that hard, right? I say that as one who's not a programmer. It's probably much tougher than I think, but still. Yeah. So
give Peach and Daisy their sports outfits.
Indeed.
Oh, and Wario and Waluigi. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh man, I'd love this.
Yeah. I like this is a great idea. I'm totally on board. I just want to be like, if they can surprise me, that'd be cool. You know, I'd love being caught off guard, like you said, John. Like it is dropping at E3. That would be pretty exciting. But again, I do keep coming back to the Smash Run. I really think there's so much more potential there, and I hope they are able to deliver on it. So, or have the chance to, I should say.
Mm-hmm. And also, do you think they'll bring back any more stages, or are the ones that we have just kind of it for now?
Oh man, you know, before a stage builder, I might have said there's a chance. I mean, there's still a chance, but I feel like the odds have dropped now that stage builder is a thing. Now that we have like 100 recreations, including our own Poke Floats. You know, I don't know if they'll bother to add their own. So.
Yeah, I mean, the only one I really yearn for is Pac-Man from 3DS, because the current Pac-Man stage sucks. I want a proper Pac-Man stage.
I mean, also the Donkey Kong Country Returns stage, because for one, it had an incredibly unique gimmick, and two, it's a travesty that we don't have any representation for those games in the form of stages in Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it would just that might be an excuse to then put more Tropical Freeze songs in there.
Yes,
absolutely,
man. I don't need a stage for that. Just add an entire Tropical Freeze soundtrack to this game, please. So great.
I would be cool with them adding just, hey, here's some more music.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to scoff at like 900 tracks, but at the same time, yeah, give me more.
Exactly. Yeah. We're just being greedy, but whatever. All right, guys. Any final thoughts at all on 3.0 or maybe 4.0 before we wrap it up here?
It's a great update. I think it adds a lot of stuff that was missing. Stage Builder is way bigger and better than I thought it would be. And I've had a lot of fun with it. I'm having a lot of fun just seeing what people are doing with it. And Joker, while I have some problems, he's still a really fun character to play as.
Yeah, there's some really, like, I dived into the spirit board for the Persona characters, and there's some really great deep cuts in there that I really did appreciate. So the love is definitely there, and I love it.
Nice. Yeah, I pretty much agree. I mean, I think Joker's fine. I think it fits in well. I just wish, or he's just not quite as unique as I expected him to be, but he's still a very fun character to use, and he does bring some unique elements to the battle. So, and while I don't love the stage creator, I do love what people are creating with it. Oh, real quick, forgot to talk about the ability to create your own custom videos now, or your own. You can build your own videos using the video editor, and I think that's really cool. Like, I think its functionality is pretty impressive given the fact that it's an in-game editor. However, when I was using it, I was reminded of how annoying the entire process is of making videos, where you have to basically, if you want to make a full replay into a video, you have to watch the entire replay, and you have to do that before you can use it in the video editor itself. So it's a multi-step process to use a video editor, and beyond all that, you can only use the most recent videos from the last update. You can't use videos before then, even though they exist as videos. So it's kind of baffling how complicated it can be, or how many steps are involved in order to create a video. But once you get to that point, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is cool, but they've kind of gated how you share videos. Because ever since Smashes came out, you can't actually use the video capture in the Switch.
Which would be so much easier. It'd be so much easier.
Exactly. So they've made this whole community thing where you can share your stages and share your Miis, and it's the only way you can share your videos as well. So you can't share them to Twitter. It's just in this very specific Smash community.
Yeah.
So it's cool that it's there. I wish you could just capture videos.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool that's there. It's something I will probably never use myself beyond testing it for this. And it reminded me of my biggest problem with how replays work in this game, is I almost never forget to save them, or I almost never remember to save them. We always skip past the screen and realize immediately afterward we should have saved that. And I wish it would do what Mario Kart did, Mario Kart 8, just save the last few automatically, so we can go back and archive them if we want. But that way we're never, we can always go back to that, we're never punished for forgetting immediately to save it, so.
Right. I have not messed with the editor at all. It's just, I edit all the time. I have no interest.
It does look remarkably like our editor, though. It does. Sony Vegas, and it looks really just like it.
Even some of the transitions I'm pretty sure are identical, so... Alright, and with that, I think we're about done here, so thank you so much for watching, guys. If you liked our discussion, make sure to like and follow us on Facebook and Twitter at GameXplain. You can find links to all those in the description below. It's a good way to keep updated on everything we post. And of course, stay tuned to GameXplain for tons more on Smash Bros. Ultimate, including eventually 4.0 and upcoming characters, and everything else Nintendo Switch as well. We'll catch you later. Bye.